Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Smart Eye News TV. It's time to break down some college football action. We got two big-time programs going toe-to-toe in Texas and Ohio State. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's start off by talking about the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes did not have their best performance of the season against this Texas team, and they made enough mistakes early that allowed Texas to take control of this game. So, when you look at Ohio State, obviously, they're a high-powered offense. They put up 56 points a game, but we saw that really sputtered here in the first half. And what we saw was a team that wasn't as prepared as they probably should have been. I think there were a lot of questions coming into this matchup for the Buckeyes, a lot of things that they had to iron out before conference play started, and I don't know if they got those ironed out during the course of this game. So, in terms of Ohio State moving forward, we've got to figure out who's going to be the guy at quarterback. You saw both Kyle McCord and Devin Brown get some playing time in this one. It didn't seem to make a difference which guy was in the game for the Buckeyes. Neither of them could get much going against this Texas defense. There were some nice plays sprinkled in here and there, but nothing consistent. So, we've got to figure out who's going to be the guy at quarterback. The offensive line also played a very poor game. They struggled to contain the Texas pass rush. And you need to be able to run the ball effectively in order to open up the passing game. And Ohio State couldn't do either one of those things. So you had a lot of negative plays for the Buckeyes in this one. A lot of times when it was third and long, so they weren't able to convert very many third downs. And again, I think that comes back to not being on the same page as an offensive unit. On the defensive side of the ball, you have to give Texas credit. They came out in the first half and executed extremely well on offense. But I thought the Buckeyes did a better job in the second half of containing the run and making Quinn Ewers beat them with his arm. And I think that's something that they can build on, but again, too many mistakes early, especially in the first quarter. And they dug themselves into a hole that was way too big to climb out of in this one. When you look at the Buckeyes, though, you've got to like your chances moving forward. They are a very talented team. This is a good test for them early. In the season, you re-going on the road in a neutral site game to take on a top 10 opponent, and you go toe-to-toe with them and you find out some things about yourself. So now you have the rest of the season to correct those issues. I think you see a team that will continue to improve each week, and by the time Big Ten play rolls around, they'll be ready to go. I don't think this was a great showing for Ohio State. I don't think it was a terrible showing. I think it was an average showing. And I think they're capable of a lot more. So I think that bodes well for them moving forward. Now, let's talk about the loser of this game. And that is the Texas Longhorns. Now, Texas comes into this one as the no 9 team in the country. But I thought this was a really good opportunity for them to prove that they are for real. They played a very clean game against Ohio State in the first half, but ultimately, the wheels fell off in the second half. So, on the offensive side of the ball, like I mentioned, I thought Texas did a really good job in the first half, establishing the run game. They were physical up front. Quinn Ewers was making good decisions. They were converting third downs. So they were keeping drives alive, and they were putting points on the board. But the second half, I thought the Ohio State defense did a better job of containing the run and forcing Ewers to beat them with his arm. And Ewers struggled to do that. You also saw some young players make some mistakes in critical situations, like the muffed punt. That really shifted the momentum in this game. So I think that hurt the Longhorns. I also think that they kind of got conservative in the second half. And when you're playing at home, you've got a lead, you need to continue to push the gas pedal. You need to continue to be aggressive and try to put points on the board. But I thought they got a little conservative, and that hurt them in the second half. Also, the lack of execution in the red zone. You get down there, you've got to punch it in. I think there was one play where they could have easily ran it in from like 3 yards out, decided to throw it. And then, on the next play, they end up turning the ball over on downs. So you have to finish drives and you have to execute when it matters most. And I think that's something that the Longhorns struggled with in this game. The bright side for the Longhorns is that they did show flashes of brilliance in this game. I thought they played well in the first half. They executed. They made plays. But you have to put 60 minutes together And if you want to be a contender, you have to find a way to win these close games. So hopefully this is a wake-up call for the Longhorns. I think they're still a really good team. I think they still have a chance to win the Big 12. I do want to think this was a great showing for them. I don't think it was a terrible showing. I think it was an average showing. And I think they're capable of a lot more. So I think that bodes well for them moving forward. But you cannot beat yourself. You can't turn the ball over. You Korean have false starts and delay of games and holding penalties like you had multiple holding penalties in this game. You can't have those mental lapses because against a team like Ohio State, they will capitalize on it. And that's what happened in this one. All right, so that's going to do it for our analysis of Texas versus Ohio State. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 1 million subscribers. Also, check us out on our website. We've got all kinds of great content there. All you have to do is go to our website, click subscribe, and you'll be good to go. And then go ahead and download the app. Watch all the highlights from today's game. Once again, it's the official app of the NCAA. You can find all the highlights from today's game. And don't forget to follow us on social media for all the latest in sports news.